The man who voluntarily entered Auschwitz did it not to survive, but to expose the truth. His name was Witold Pilecki, and his story is one of the most extraordinary acts of courage in human history. In 1940, Poland was already crushed under Nazi occupation. Cities were broken, families torn apart. Fear ruled everything. But beneath the surface, a resistance was forming. Pilecki was part of it. He wasn't just a soldier, he was a patriot, deeply committed to fighting back against the occupation of his homeland. But as reports began to surface about a new German camp, Auschwitz, something far worse than prison, something unclear, terrifying, and hidden, the resistance faced a problem. No one knew what was happening inside. Rumors spread, mass imprisonment, starvation, disappearances. But rumors weren't enough. They needed proof. And that's when Pilecki made a decision that no one else dared to make. He would get himself captured, on purpose. In September 1940, during a Nazi roundup in Warsaw, Pilecki deliberately stepped into the crowd. He allowed himself to be arrested. No escape plan, no guarantee of survival, just a mission. He was sent to Auschwitz. The moment he arrived, reality hit. The beatings, the shouting, the dehumanization. Prisoners stripped of names, reduced to numbers. Hunger was constant. Death was everywhere. People didn't last long, but Pilecki had come prepared, not with weapons, but with purpose. Inside the camp, he began building something almost impossible, a resistance network. Quietly, secretly, he connected with other prisoners. He formed an underground organization within Auschwitz itself. They shared food, they passed messages, they kept each other alive. But more importantly, they gathered information. Pilecki documented everything, the conditions, the executions, the growing scale of horror, and then he did something even more dangerous. He began sending reports out of Auschwitz, through escaped prisoners, through secret contacts, through anything that could carry a message beyond the barbed wire. These became some of the first eyewitness accounts of the Holocaust. But the world didn't react, not the way you might expect. The reports were too horrifying, too unbelievable. Many couldn't accept that such systematic brutality was real. Even as the evidence grew, the response was slow. Inside Auschwitz, things only got worse. The camp expanded, gas chambers were introduced. Mass extermination became industrial. Pilecki witnessed it all, and still, he continued his mission. Years passed. Survival itself became a daily miracle. Disease spread, food grew scarcer, executions increased. Yet somehow Pilecki endured. Not just endured, he led. He kept the resistance alive. He kept hope alive. Eventually, he reached a breaking point. He realized something critical. If he stayed, he might die. And if he died, the world might never fully understand what was happening inside Auschwitz. So he made another impossible decision. He would escape. In 1943, after nearly 3 years inside the camp, Pilecki and 2 others carried out a daring escape. Under the cover of night, they cut through defenses and fled. It was a near impossible act, but they made it. Once free, Pilecki did what he had always intended. He told the world. In detailed reports, he described everything: the structure of the camp, the systematic killings, the suffering of prisoners. He even proposed a plan, an attack on Auschwitz to liberate the prisoners. But again, the response was not what he hoped. The Allies did not act on his plan. The war was complex. Resources were limited. Decisions were calculated, and Auschwitz continued operating. Pilecki didn't stop. He continued fighting in the resistance. He participated in the Warsaw Uprising. He risked his life again and again. For him, the mission was never about survival. It was about duty. When World War II finally ended, you might expect his story to end in recognition, honor, peace. But history had one more cruel twist. After the war, Poland fell under Soviet control, and men like Pilecki, loyal to a free Poland, became threats in the eyes of the new regime. He was arrested, interrogated, tortured, accused of being an enemy. The man who had voluntarily entered Auschwitz was now imprisoned by his own country's new rulers. In 1948, Witold Pilecki was executed, silenced, buried in secrecy. For decades, his story was suppressed, but the truth has a way of surviving, just like he did. Today, Witold Pilecki is recognized as one of the bravest individuals of World War II, a man who walked into hell, not to escape it, but to reveal it. He didn't just survive Auschwitz, he exposed it, he fought it, and he made sure the world would one